Hello, everybody, and welcome to MangaPod.
I'm so confused.
What do you mean you're confused? I was like, I'm gonna set it to go live, and then Dodger started making weird noises, and so I was like, well, obviously this is when I'm supposed to go.
Okay, that works.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to MangaPod. We're a weekly podcast in which we all get together to read all a part of a manga, and then we discuss it with friendship, love, and lots of spoilers. I'm Erin of HappiLeeErin, your host, and with me are two of my three lovely co-hosts. Introduce yourselves, please.
You know what made that even better? The confusion that Lou was feeling was like maybe 300% for me because somehow I had 4 different tabs open with my own stream and the volume on. So all of them started at once and I was like, oh no, what is happening? Hi, I'm Dodger.
Welcome,
Welcome,
Dodger.
Vampires! I'm so excited.
Oh my god, your shirt is... Did you do that on purpose? Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yes, I did.
Okay. Good.
I'm Lou. I'm the confused one. And I'm still confused. Sup?
That's MangaPod.
Yeah.
Or as
There
we decided to call it before we started, Manga Plebe.
Manga pleb.
We're Manga Plebs. Manga Plebs.
It seems fairly accurate considering this little intro
I was
sequence.
gonna say, considering everything that if it's their first time watching so far, it's pretty accurate.
Mm-hmm.
If you before we go any further, if you haven't joined us for a bit, Yokurama is still on hiatus. He is still dealing with family stuff, and we send him all of the love and all of the hugs, and we hope he comes back super soon. So you should tweet at him and send him all of your love and let him know that you're thinking about him.
We also send him all of the poop emojis that he can handle.
Yes.
So many poop emojis.
We've sent him so many poop emojis, and if he doesn't feel love from that, I don't know what else to do.
I don't know what
I don't know what
Didn't
he
we
expects
send
from
him
us.
in the chat? Didn't we send him poop and he responded with like a poodle or something?
Yeah.
At one point.
It's just like walls of poops and then just poodle.
Poodle. Yoku, we miss you. But he is being filled in by the Midorima, the swaggiest Midorima to ever have Midorimaed, and Nana Diolo'd. So,
Yep.
if you've never joined us for a manga pod before, what we like to do is give you a short spoiler-free description of the manga, or in this case, this week, manhwa, that we read, and then we'll give you our spoiler-free recommendations, whether we think you should spend time going to read the manga/manhwa or not. Then you can make your decision if you have not read what we are going to be discussing and you don't want to be spoiled, then you can take your leave and then come back to watch the VOD of this on my channel, youtube.com/HappiLeeErin, after you've read all 154 chapters of Noblesse.
They go fast.
They go pretty quick. So, yes, we have already done one MangaPod/ManhwaPod on Noblesse before. It was like number 51 or 58. It was a while ago, because we're on 91 now. So it was a little bit ago. But we read the first 78 chapters then, and we are doing our second round of it. So, woot, 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 woot.
Yay!
I can pull up the spoiler-free description.
Yes, please.
Of Noblesse, which I keep accidentally calling Noblesse, just because I've been so trained. Oh, I don't have my glasses. But you look so good.
Yeah, I've been wondering which it's supposed to be. I assume it's Noblesse.
I think Noblesse sounds right. And usually I pronounce things wrong. So whatever I say is probably wrong.
We're going to take that to be the incorrect way.
So it's not Noblesse. It's not Noblesse. Okay, synopsis time. For 820 years, he has slumbered with no knowledge of mankind's advancement in scientific progress. The land which he once knew has become an unfamiliar place with new technology, attitudes, and lifestyles. Upon awakening, Kades Eterem de Regiel, aka Ray, seeks to familiarize himself with this era. He locates a loyal servant of his, Frankenstein, who is currently the principal of a South Korean high school. Rai decides that the school is the perfect place for him to learn about the modern world, enrolls, and begins associating with a group of good-natured students in order to blend in. But this new world is no safer than the old, and the dignified, bewildered, technologically inept Ray finds himself embroiled in adventures both ridiculous and dangerous. So
It's pronounced Noblesse.
Yeah. Everybody in chat is like,
is everyone yelling at us?
yeah.
I
Well,
double checked it on Google.
They use a lot
I
of
gotcha.
French in it too.
Yeah,
so
that's what
if
I
it-
was figuring.
If it's French, it's Noblesse.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, so people may be confused that this is not a manga, or you may not know what manhwa is. Manhwa is Korean manga, so, or like Korean comics. Most of the time it's online web comics. We've read quite a few manhwa before. Actually not quite a few, like 3.
Tower God is the most prevalent.
Yeah, we've done Tower of God, Breaker, and Noblesse are the 3 that we've done. We'll definitely
And they're
do
all
more.
awesome, by the way.
They're all great.
All of them were fantastic. So
We'll probably be doing more of those in the future, and I'm
Lou doesn't
so
agree.
excited
Whatever,
to see.
ignore Lou. They're all fantastic. They're
So
all
excited
good.
to see Lou and Dodger beat down this episode. Beat each other down.
This isn't gonna be it, right?
Are we gonna do this, Lou? Oh
Love
God.
it.
Oh man.
I'm excited. I'll just sit here and be like,
I'm neutral.
I feel everything. So let's do spoiler-free recommendations. Does anybody want to go first? I can go. I really enjoy this manhwa. I have a lot of fun with it. I wouldn't say it's the best in terms of story that I've ever read, but I think it's really engaging and the characters are really fun and that the humor is pretty witty and that it's just really enjoyable. It's just a really enjoyable story and I really like the characters. I do say after having read 154 chapters, which is technically 2 seasons in terms of this manhwa and how it's being released, it did get a little bit repetitive for me in terms of the action later on. And in terms of how the villains show up and such, which we'll get more into later. But, yeah, I like the action, I like the humor, and I really like the characters and their relationships, and Hackership is my OTP.
Yeah, Hackership for life.
Hackership for life.
It's sailing.
So, I do recommend it if you like action, especially. I think it's something that any action fan should check out. Yeah, and it goes really fast, and the art is really, really pretty, so.
Go Dodger.
I can
We already
go.
know what you're gonna say.
I'm worried that Lou's gonna be like, Dodger's wrong and she's the worst. This manga's trash.
No,
And I'll
that'll
be
be good. That'll be great. It's great conversation, guys.
It is. I think that it makes for a much more interesting manga pod when we're not all going, wasn't that just great? Let's talk more about how great this was. It was just the greatest, don't you
Yeah.
agree? The end. Thanks for watching. But yeah, I super like Noblesse. I wouldn't necessarily agree that it's good for somebody who likes action though. I think a lot of it is character based. And if you don't feel like a connection with the characters, if you don't find the characters interesting, you're not really going to find this manhwa interesting. What I love about Noblesse is that I thought that it was going a specific direction at the beginning, and it continues to go in a direction that I'm not really expecting. And so I've appreciated that. And yes, the art is fantastic. So I really like it. It's not something that, it's not a story that like gets my pulse racing where I'm just like, oh my gosh, what's going to happen next? Like it's just really enjoyable. I just really like it. It gives me feels. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think it's like the cutest. Maybe that's not the right way to say it. I was gonna say it's like
No,
I want to know where you're going with this.
it's like the cutest form of a vampire story to me. Like Twilight, not cute. It's just like too fluffy and gross, right? But like this is like the cutest vampire story I've ever read.
I would agree with that because it's like it's not. We can get more into this, but I'm just saying it's not like about the exotic vampire. It's about vampires being cool and also just being really adorable at the same time.
Yeah.
So.
All right, Lou, do it.
Lou.
If vampire free sounds like a good idea for you, then you'll love it.
Oh my god!
Read
I never made
all
that connection.
154 chapters in a span of a week, so I had to do double the reading. So all the negatives that were brought up on both sides, not story driven, and the whole issue with just it getting repetitive. Yeah, I saw that, a lot of that. I recommend it because what it does well, it does really well, but I would hesitate to recommend this to someone that intends to do bulk readings. Like if it's something that you want to pick up for like maybe 20 chapters at a time, then go for it. But beyond that, I don't know. I don't know if I'd recommend it that way. But yeah, vampire free. That's what's up.
I would agree with that.
I would agree with that
I would
too.
agree that it's vampire free.
I agree 100% with that. I never made that connection before, but I'm really happy you said it because I totally agree with that.
Why is Haru? He is Haru.
Totally is.
Oh, but what is water? What is Ray's water?
Ramen!
No.
Ramen!
Oh, Lord. It's all coming together. Okay, wait, we gotta go into spoiler section now.
Okay, hold on. Guys, we made a super fancy, it's not really that fancy, but we made a different layout so you know that we're in spoiler section. So, 5, 4, 3, 2,
1. Ray is God.
Raise God.
And
Yay.
Moe is fuck. I mean, come on.
And
Moe.
Yeah.
Okay. I want, Lou, actually, you know what, guys? I have a very important question. And then, Lou, I have a very specific question for you. But for both of you, we need to talk about who you guys' OTPs are.
I want everybody to bang everybody. It's... Vampire Free is the most incredible way to describe this manga because everybody is like... Every single person goes through this weird moment of like, are these what we call friends? Just like, do I have a family now? Do these people care about me? It's so fucking funny.
I belong?
Yeah, I feel like I could get used to this life. It's just like, oh my God. Yep. It's hilarious. And so everybody has like these moments with each other where I'm just like, oh, you could love each other. And then they talk to somebody else. And I'm like, or you could love each other. I don't care. Everybody love each other. Everybody love everybody.
I know.
My turn?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm going to just go for the conventional ship of Rai Frankenstein.
Yeah.
It's the master-servant relationship with the appreciative master. It just works.
It does.
Yeah.
They're very...
It's boring. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, don't worry, Lou. There's like, when I googled Noblesse, it was all of the Frankenstein Rai fan fiction fan art, so you're good. None of Hackership.
I know. Where's my hacker OTP?
Hacker OTP and M21X white-haired kid.
Yeah, they hate each other.
I can't remember his name. But it's the typical two dudes who hate each other.
Yeah.
But they hate each other so much that they obviously love each other. It's Kagami Aomine, Sasuke, and Naruto.
All of those.
Now, chat, you tell us your OTPs as well.
Yeah, go on, chat, while we continue our conversation. I love that we're starting to see, like, evil Frankenstein. Mm-hmm. Or, like in the when we were reading it the first time, I feel like we basically only got super subservient Frankenstein who has, like, dark evil powers that we didn't see. Yeah. And now we see him just, like, sort of like he tested the waters a little bit using it, and Ray was like, I mean, I'm sure you used it for a good reason. And then he used it again, and Ray was like, no, you did that because you're an asshole. And he was just like, oh. Like, I love it. And I love that Ray's just like, don't hurt people. What are you doing? And he's like all powerful. It's so funny to me.
I love it. They have a very interesting dynamic for sure. I really enjoy those two together, and I enjoy getting to see everybody else like slowly get brought in as well too. Just like the other characters and seeing them start to interact and how they react to Ray and Frankenstein. And what we read, this chunk was much more about Frankenstein than it was about Ray, which the first chunk that we read was much more focused on Ray as a character, which I think
I would say the first part was way more about
Shinwoo. That's who it was. Shinwoo.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so I think it might be a seasonal thing. I'm wondering if it's like a season thing where each season they kind of like focus a little bit more on each different characters. But yeah, I really liked seeing Frankenstein start to get a little creepy-eyed.
Like one of the things that because like in the first season, I remember assuming, and this is why I said this at the beginning, that like my assumptions are always sort of like diverted. I know that in the first season I was like, oh, this is obviously going to be about Shinwoo being like this badass human, and everybody's like, ooh, Shinwoo, he's so different. But then he became sort of like an ensemble character. He was just sort of like there and involved and important, but not the focus at all.
Yeah.
And then in this second season, because in the first season they had their memories wiped, and I was like, oh, that's so shitty. Like they don't even remember anything that's been happening. And then in the second season, when they had that whole conversation where they were like, here's all of the information about all of us, I was like, somehow they're going to figure out a reason why they can't have their memories wiped. And their memories totally got wiped. And I was like, what? Like, even though all of these kids are so important to the story, they're so, like, not involved in, like, what's really going on, you know? It's interesting to me.
One thing I did like, though, is that they are acknowledging that Shinwoo is retaining little bits and pieces. There was like one or two bubbles where they specifically said that he's moving a lot better, and that's probably from what he learned from the fights within that first section before his mind got wiped.
Like his muscle memory and stuff, too. It's just like remembering it, but he doesn't quite understand why. I didn't expect... I thought, like... After we had the whole battle with Kazu, or whatever his name was, the leader of the DA5.
Yes.
After the fight with him, and everybody, like, all the kids knew what was going... Like, they were like... I mean, they didn't understand what was going on. They were like, what the fuck is going on? And then they explained it. And then they had to erase their memory again. I was like, maybe this time they won't erase their memory. And then they did, and I was like, fuck.
Yeah. I wanted them to, I don't know. The second that they were like, look, this isn't just about you. This is about like everybody that you know, like your family. I was like, well, they can't, like, what argument are they going to make? Like, I don't give a shit about my family. Let me keep my memories. Like, they weren't going to say that, you know? So once they started giving those sorts of reasons, I was like, oh, they're going to wipe their memories again. And it made me so sad, like that next scene where they were like, yeah, we're cousins visiting. We live here now. And they were like, whoa, what a coincidence. This is so weird. And I was like, oh my God.
Everybody is living with Frankenstein.
I know. And I love that the only areas of the house that we see, well, we've seen the lab now. But pretty much like every scene either takes place in the living room or on that weird little deck off the side of the house.
Yep.
I will say something that since I wasn't here for the first time around, it really amuses me to see Frankenstein suffering with all the crumbs on the table.
Oh my God, yes. I love it.
It's the best thing ever. It's just, it does, like, that joke doesn't die. It's funny every single time.
Yeah. Like, we had way less of the, there were so many chapters, I feel like, in the first season that had that button of Ray doesn't understand something about the world. Yeah. And we got some of those, but we didn't get as many.
It was a lot less. It was focused more on the like the heavier story plot lines than it was on the like it's they definitely sprattered them in there for sure. But
like him using the elevator.
The elevator like or
that was my favorite one.
The electric door was my favorite, where he just stood in front of it and just watched it open and close. And like M21 is like, what do I do?
Is going on?
What is happening? I love that they're like, it's so deadpan. It's such deadpan humor. Most of the time, we're like, there's a few times where I miss it. I'll be like, oh, it's getting so serious and so heavy, and then it'll end up being a joke, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm like, oh man, something's about to be revealed right now. Nope, never mind.
Not at all.
It's a banana joke.
One thing I don't really like. One thing I didn't really like is that there isn't really any advancement in the story. Like, we're getting constant new villains being introduced, but it's not really advancing the story. We're not seeing Ryan and his group make any progress in dealing with the Union. Like, I don't know, it just feels like it's stagnant, and that's where the repetition that we mentioned in the spoiler-free section comes in, is just a constant 3 kidnappings, one in each arc.
It's true.
And it's really annoying.
Yeah, it was Oh, sorry, go on.
No, it was just really, was it 3 or 4? No, it was 3.
It was at,
I don't think
I think it
Frankenstein
was
doesn't
3.
count. Frankenstein getting kidnapped doesn't count. He was like,
But it was still a moment where like a character got put into a bunch of villains, and you're like, how are they gonna get out of it?
how are they gonna get out of
It
this
was very
one?
like it was the same formula over like and I liked. It's not that I didn't like it because I really enjoyed the characters that were introduced, but it was definitely something where like by the time they had the battle with Kratz, I think was his name, Krantz, K-Man, K-douchebag,
K-dog.
K-dick.
Once they got done fighting K-Dick.
K-dick. Once I got done fighting him, like, it was just something that we had seen so many times. And, like, even though I liked that fight, because I did think the character's abilities and the actual action itself was really cool, I was like, this is exactly this. I feel like this is what happened with M21 and M24 and whatever his name, Mary and Jake.
Yeah.
And then like when Eris and Yuri, I can't remember the names very well. that's how I say them in my head, but I know they're not right. That last battle, it was like the same thing where like you had the character fighting and the other characters were coming. Whereas this one, it was different. The last one was different in that Frankenstein handled all that shit by himself. Like he didn't need anybody else's help. But it was still the same thing over like villain introduced, villain kidnaps, villain gets beaten while revealing some information or getting some sort of misunderstanding that goes back to the doctor and confuses him. And so it's like it was the same thing consistently where it really didn't feel like, even though we've read 154 chapters, it's like what progress other than new characters being introduced has been moved in terms of
We do
story.
know that Cromwell, is that his name?
Dr. Cromwell.
Yeah. We know that he gained his powers and his knowledge from Frankenstein's old paperwork, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, we found that out. That is really interesting.
So I did like finding that out.
Yeah.
And so something that I didn't entirely understand is why the what are they called? The Lombards? The Loyards? Why the silver-haired kids are there?
Oh, yeah, the lawyer. Yeah.
I didn't understand why
Laylords.
They wanted to investigate they wanted to investigate what happened at that hospital, that
but
massacre.
Why?
Because the Noblesse have an obligation to protect humanity.
Oh, so because a bunch of humans died,
it was implied.
To check it out. Okay.
Exactly, it was implied, so they wanted to make sure that there wasn't a repeat of that. That's why they were so hostile towards M21, because he was an enhanced human.
That makes sense. And then they just decided to hang out in Frankenstein's apartment afterwards.
Pretty much.
Like, so many situations that should be dealt with a lot more seriously are just like, well, now we're all just gonna sit and have dinner and work it out later. And I'm like, really? Are we though?
It's like, I don't think you will. I think another villain will pop up and you'll get distracted.
Yeah. I think somebody else is gonna show. Oh my god. When Takeo's sister
is
the fucking doctor, I was like, really? Let the guy have one thing.
That made me so mad.
I
felt so bad for him.
Bitch.
The last I don't know, that reveal just felt so like I was not moved or felt anything. I was just like, that was dumb. Like I felt it was really dumb personally. Just because it's like, okay, well now like we've put a string on Takeo's sister, okay, but it just felt like this character, she was introduced, and I wasn't a fan of her as a character at all. She was so generically supervillain, like, hoo, 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 hoo. But, like, so she being read in, I wasn't a fan of her, and then for her to be like, oh, yeah, I'm your sister, was just, it wasted an opportunity for Takeo in the future, I think. Like, it was just like it could have been used for so much more, and it just felt like a wasted. Oh, we need a plot twist to end this season. Let it be this, and it just didn't work at all for me.
I would have been okay with it if it would have happened later. Like, just take this exact same arc and just move it later into the story. Have something else going on in this period of time. Because I feel like it would have been more impactful if the whole thing with his sister would have gotten put on a back burner. Like it's constantly being brought up in the story that comes right before it, and the payoff just came too soon.
Yeah. Too soon and Yeah, I agree. Like, the build-up for it was just not given the time it needed either. Chat, really quick, chat. I want to give you guys warning that please do not spoil anything past chapter 154 of this manhwa, because we have not read anything past that. So please do not post any spoilers for anything past the end of season 2 or chapter 154. You'll be timed out, and then you will be banned because we're really heavy on the spoilers. So please, please, please don't spoil it. Thanks. Bye. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah, don't be dicks.
Yeah.
Don't be rotten bacon dicks.
Don't be K-Dicks.
K-Dicks. Lou, I didn't get to ask you, what were yours, since you had not read the manhwa before, what were your expectations going into it?
All right. I didn't really, like, I heard you read the premise last week, and at that point I had already started reading it. So when I started reading it, I hadn't read the premise, nothing. I haven't heard anything about it. And so my expectations were really nowhere. I didn't really expect anything because it, like, apart from seeing it on the schedule, I hadn't heard of it. Because I think that was one of the few MangaPod that I didn't watch in the chat when I was on Mod Patrol and stuff. But I don't know, once I started getting into it, like, I started to see why Dodger would like it. Like, it just feels like the type of story that she would get into and the type of art that she would really get into. But beyond that, I mean, that's I really have nothing to say about my expectations because they really were no preconceived notions. All I knew is that Dodger really liked it, and she was really mad when we had to move it on the schedule.
One time,
I was really sad. Like, no.
Why?
No. I'm trying to remember. Did Yoku like Noblesse? I can't remember.
Let me go look at the Reddit because
I want to look too.
I know I liked it. I liked it last time a lot. Let's see. Noblesse. 1 through 78. 999. Yeah.
Oh, 9998.
Yeah.
We all dug it.
So we all liked it a lot. I would say, to compare what we read this time to what we read last time, I think the first season was definitely stronger than what we read this time. Honestly, just because of how repetitive it had gotten in terms of the story. It didn't feel like, even though we don't have all the answers and they're doing a good job about keeping a lot of stuff shrouded in mystery, there was still, I felt, more, trying to think, refreshing ways they could have progressed the story and, like, the pacing of it. Just felt way too, like, repetitive with the characters introduced. And even though I liked the characters and I did think the characters are the best part of the story, it still felt, with the pacing, it just took a lot for me to, like, actually read it. Like, even though I didn't, it goes so fast, like, the whole thing goes so quickly because it's such an easy read. It was still, there were times where I was like, okay, I've felt this emotion before. I got it. Yeah. I get it.
I think one of the biggest problems with Noblesse is its scale, because there hasn't really been a lot of change in setting. We've only really seen Frankenstein's apartment, the school, yeah, and the lab, the union lab that. And they keep on revisiting those three settings all the time. And I feel like it feels like the story is being constricted by the fact that they're not really venturing outside of those areas. Yeah. Which is why
more and more characters are being pumped into the same areas. Setting.
And even like the when there is a new area, it's not fleshed out. It's just like, especially not in the art, it's always just a stationary background with like white or black or something like that. Like when they were fighting against the doctor at the end, Asus, when they were fighting against her, for the longest time, I didn't know where they were. I was like, I could not figure it out. Like, I would randomly think about it and be like, wait, were they in a hotel room? Or are they on a roof? Or did they destroy the hotel and make it into a roof?
Right.
And because, like, the detail, in terms of the art, the detail definitely gets lost for focus on what's happening in the foreground and what's happening in the background. And so setting-wise, the only settings that ever get fleshed out are the ones that Lou mentioned. And so when you get moved into a different setting, they don't give that background or the buildings or anything personality so that we can actually feel like we're in those moments. It's just like, oh, okay, this is another... It doesn't give it enough to differentiate it from anything else that we've seen, which I think is really important in terms of setting the atmosphere for each of the scenes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I meant.
I just fleshed it out for you.
I was like, I don't know what it was. For some reason, like, I would also be confused, but I, like, didn't care.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what it is about this manga. I just, I just love it.
Aww. Which I think is totally fine.
I just think it's so cute.
Yeah. No, I love it
And
too.
I
yeah.
totally agree. Like, the critiques, I totally agree with. Like, I think that all, like, pretty much every bad guy that has shown up, I've been like, okay, what new thing are you going to bring to the table? And they never bring anything new to the table, but, like, they're not my focus.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's not, I don't know. Like, I'm way more interested in the development of the relationships of all of the characters that we've, like, you know, grown to accept as part of the crew that's now living at Frankenstein's apartment. You know, like, their interactions are what I read for. I don't really read for the whole, like, intrigue, because the intrigue isn't that developed or that interesting.
Yeah, this isn't one that you would read that for at all.
Yeah.
I mean, speaking of things that I would read for, or that I've read this for and that I really got out of it, was M21's character arc.
I was just gonna say M21. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just everything about from how he was introduced and his whole journey of trying to get the names of him and his comrades, and how he grows to adapt into Frankenstein's apartment lifestyle, and how he's feels and like as a new member in the group, and how he interacts with newer members in a group. So it's just, that's something I really liked. I feel like the story would be better if it was more focused on him. Like, I'm enjoying more of what he's contributing to the story.
Yes.
Yeah. Did anybody else? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Did anybody else want Tao to be a teacher instead of a guard? When I saw that they were all guards, I was like, that is not a good use of them.
I wanted him to be a teacher, like
Tao, like, specifically said that he's not a fighter. I'm like, why is he a guard? Like, at least let him.
They just wanted to put him in suits.
I know.
It's like when in Free, when they want them to just have their clothes off, they put like a pool there, and Haru gets naked.
Oh, and everybody's suddenly in bathing suits. We don't need to be at a pool right now. That's just how it is.
No, I would agree with that. I wanted him to be, to definitely be a teacher. I think that would have been more interesting. Or even like, I guess he's older than them, but I was like, he could pass for a student. He could just be a student advisor or something. Though I guess they already have so many transfer students that it'd be real hard to like.
True. Fair.
I really enjoyed him. Actually, I kind of like, I chuckled because I was reading, when I went to read it, I saw, because Tao's the one on the cover currently for like all of the scanlation sites. And so I saw him and I was like, who is this Chippy? Like, who is this man? I don't know who he is. Is he gonna come?
Chippy?
Yeah, I called him Chippy. Like, who is he? Is he gonna be important like way later on? And then he came in like the next chapter, and I was like, oh, there he is.
Oh,
Chippy?
there he is.
Chippy, it's an old-fashioned slang for whore. But it's like one of my favorite insults in the world.
Who's that Chippy?
Who's that Chippy? It's one of my favorite insults in the world. My grandma used to say it all the time.
What? That's so funny.
I'm so gonna use that on a
I
regular
wanna
basis
start calling
now.
people Chippies now.
Though apparently in England, it's like fish and chips. Like, they call chips Chippy.
Yeah.
And so, like, I called somebody a Chippy, and somebody was like, just call him a chip? Like, but it's one of my favorites.
Everybody go tweet at Yokurama. He's a chippy.
With the
Yo,
poop
you
emoji.
Chippy? Yo, you Chippy? Poop. Poop and poodles.
Poodles.
Yokurama.
Poopdles.
Poodles.
Poodles.
It all came together.
Yeah, what were you guys, let's talk about, because we had at the end of 78, we had the whole thing, like, they wrapped up the battle with Jake and Mary, who, Mary was another character that, I mean, we already talked about her last time, but she just popped up and then got killed.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so we had M24's death at the end of chapter 78, and so we got to see M21 and just see him, how he became so much more part of the story, like you were saying, Lou, which I really enjoyed. And then we also got Tao and Takeo and Shark and Hammer and Krantz
and
were the DA5, K-Dick. So those were the villains that were introduced in the first part of what we read. So what are you guys' feelings about them when they were introduced, and what did you think about them?
I loved Shark's design. I wanted him to stick around longer, but I was kind of okay with the way he went out, though.
Yeah, where he just got, like, shriveled.
He
just got, like, all of his life force sucked out of his body and was, like, dead. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was...
Of the DA5, I liked Hammer. And I liked him because he stood out from the group and from every other character that's been portrayed, because he's just a fat guy.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was that stereotypical fat character that's, like, constantly eating. I was like, come on.
He was, oh, shoot, who's the fat one from Fullmetal Alchemist?
From Fullmetal Alchemist?
Gluttony.
I couldn't remember the word gluttony.
Yeah, but like...
I kept thinking of Naruto, Choji from Naruto.
Oh, Choji, yeah.
That too.
Choji, too.
Yeah.
I really like, when they were introduced, I had that same feeling of, oh, more villains, la-di-da-di-da. But yeah, I loved all of their character designs so much. So Takeo, I thought, was a girl at first.
Me too.
And still sometimes I
was like, oh, there's a girl on this team. Nope, never mind.
That's something I was thinking about, how there's a very distinct lack of strong, developed female characters in this manhwa. Like, there's lots of really well-developed, great guy characters, especially in terms of, like, heroes and, like, villains. But every lady that's introduced, like, there's the friends, which are so adorable and they're so sweet, and we got the idol, like, they're all really cute and sweet, but, like, they don't want to
distract from the Bishonen, but
it's true.
Before we go any further, we've been called out because we have not mentioned the D.
Oh!
You have not mentioned the D. Oh my god, I took so many screen caps.
The D!
There were very rare moments where they said the D instead of just D, but when they said the D, it was funny every time.
I laughed. I was dying. I was like, there was one where it was like, I'm going to force you to take the D, and then you will take the D, and then I will suck your life force after you've taken the D. And I was like...
Oh, wait, this one... The picture that I sent you earlier, you have forced me to use the D. You're the third opponent who has managed to do so. And his hand is like a shriveled shoujo hand. And then I want to recommend that you guys stop using the D.
Okay.
Was the other one that I took a screen cap of.
Here's mine. This was my favorite one. Where it's... I don't know why I'm getting an ad. Oh, because there was an ad on it. But it's the one where, like, K-Dick is forcing Tao, and he's like, Tao, stop dawdling and take the D. And he's, like, strangling him.
Yep.
That one's my favorite.
You're welcome, chat. You guys were asking for it.
You're welcome, chat. Oh my god, it's so funny.
That one's my favorite of all of them.
Stop dawdling and take the D. Oh, I also took a screen cap of when Ray is like on a warpath to come save everybody, and he's like very daintily eating raw ramen noodles as he's like leaving. It's like, oh my god, he gets me.
Oh man. Oh, okay. Yes. Catcherai in the Twitch chat said Sierra. Sierra is one of the she is one of the lady characters that we've gotten some development from.
Yeah,
who is
for
awesome.
Sure.
But it's just like, even though she's like hasn't been given that much screen time in terms
even
of,
then
like,
the only
to
development.
Her brother.
Yeah, the only development we've gotten is like she's the leader of their family.
She has the scythe, which is
she's
awesome.
got a death scythe. But like in terms of personality, we know she likes being complimented, and that's it.
And she's an amazing cook.
Yeah, she's an amazing cook. And then like, yeah, that was the idol I was going to talk about, because she literally showed up. They were like, oh my gosh, it's our friend who's also an idol. She's super popular. Oh my gosh. And then she just became like a background character.
Yeah.
Like immediately after that whole big scene with M21 being like, get your fucking car off of my...
That whole thing, like,
so funny.
His intro, that whole thing was just M21 being a badass. Like, that's the only reason that was there. Yeah.
Yeah.
One thing I will say about Sarah is that I like how they went out of their way to kill any possible shit with her and any of the guys.
Yeah.
That one sequence of Hannah's like, no, he's too young. He's still way too young.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like, well, she's
he's
not.
my senpai.
At least she's not
young,
just there
too young.
Way too young.
Yeah, not gonna
And
work.
he's just a kid. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess they're not brother and sister.
No, I always think they are.
I always think they are too.
They
but I
really
remember
portrayed
they
that
have
they.
last names.
Yeah, they
Last names.
portrayed that like the way that they were introduced. It seemed like they were, but it's like, it's just they're from the same clan, so they have the same look, I guess. Something that's really I like seeing more and more is the talk about the one true noblesse and learning about how noblesse really became it became the standard like blanket term for anybody who was like a vampire.
Right.
But really that revealed that it was like there is only one true noblesse. It came from one person, and that's like Ray, and it was just like
obviously Ray. Yeah.
that I thought was really cool. It definitely has some of those awesome like goosebump cool moments in it during like showing off the powers and stuff like that. And I feel like the reveal about noblesse was one of those moments for sure.
Frankenstein for sure I think has the most moments where you're just like, oh fuck, like where he just goes real ham out of nowhere and you're like, oh god, people are gonna die. Yeah. Oh man,
people are screwed.
And I like how Rai's power is really underrated. Mm-hmm. Or not underrated, but like underplayed. Like it's just him saying words and not really like not these dramatic action sequences. Yeah. Except for the 2 times where he just says, no, I'm gonna destroy everyone with blood.
Yes. I'm just gonna suck up all the blood in the world and then crush your body with it.
The part where he's all like, what is the friend with the glasses? Who?
Oh, I can't remember his name. I know what part you're talking about.
Yeah, the part where he's like pleading to Ray to kill, like protect everybody, protect M21 and protect Tal. And Ray's just like, you don't even have to ask. And he just kills him. And I'm like, Ray!
Yeah! And then later Frankenstein is like, oh, why did you go to such lengths, my master? As he's like wiping blood off his mouth. He's like, because they asked me. And I was like, Ray, you're adorable. You have like no personality and somehow you're still really adorable and I don't understand.
So
Glasses Kun's name is Ikan.
Ikan! That's what it is. Glasses Kun.
Ikan.
Glasses Kun.
Underappreciated Glasses Kun.
I love him. I like Hacker Kun. But yeah, no, like that's one of those moments when I was thinking about reading this, like I really enjoy reading this as a comic and reading it like as a manhwa, and as I was reading it I wasn't thinking anything about like because usually when we read manhwa they're just so lively and jump off the page, especially mostly because the art is so colored, but it's also the action sequences are just so detailed that you're like you get that feeling of would I want to see this animated, like would I want to see this animated, or is it doing it complete justice just even being on the page itself. With this one, like, there were only a few moments when I was reading it that I was like, yeah, I'd really like to see this animated, and that was definitely one of them. Just because you can picture, like, the music with the art animation and the voice acting and everything. It's just, like, having seen that happen so many times, I just know how much of an impact that has on me every single time I see it animated. And I had to, like, I absolutely loved it here in the manhwa, too.
Yeah, part of me is like dreading the moment when I know Ray is gonna get hurt by something. Mm-hmm. Like part of me is dreading that, and at the same time I'm like eventually something has to like be able to at least hurt him, right? Like eventually he can't just be that guy who shows up when everybody's almost dead every time and is just like, flick, 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 let's go home.
Yeah.
Because that's what he does, is he always shows up way too late, just like annihilates everybody and is like, all right, moving on.
He's like, gonna go eat some ramen.
Yeah, let's go eat ramen, everybody. Where's my ramen crew at? Oh, you're all dying? Hold on. Beep, beep, beep.
Be back.
Oh, speaking of ramen, something that really made me laugh was Frankenstein's ramen experiments.
Yes!
Just that line of bowls, it was just
Everyone's
made
like,
me hungry.
and they got their face of just being like fucking done. That they give them when they have that. They're just like. I just love how ramen was just a continuous thing, and then when Frankenstein gets kidnapped and he's playing it completely cool and he's totally fine, and then his phone goes off with the text that just says ramen master. And he's like, oops.
Whoops.
Whoops.
That
was one of my favorite
I'm doing
jokes.
a thing right now.
I really liked that joke. I'm trying to think. What else? I feel like I had something else. Oh, okay. I have two things. So,
Okay.
I wanted to say something about M21. I love how often he gets, like, his shirt ripped off and torn
Yeah.
off. I was thinking about
There
that.
were major shirt ripping inconsistencies, by the way.
So, like, there were so many where it just, like, he blocked some power and his shirt just happened to come off. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay.
So, little silver-haired kid, too, like, he had his whole, like, bottom parts of his sleeves blown off, right?
Yes.
Before he got kidnapped. There are definitely a couple of different frames after he's been kidnapped where he has full sleeves again, and then later the sleeves are ripped again, and I'm like, come on. And his shirt was sometimes white, but sometimes blue.
Yes!
Like, you guys cannot make up your mind. You don't know what's going on.
I know he was wearing,
Maybe
like...
he's just changing shirts
He's just-
all the time.
He's like,
He's
hold
like
on.
He's basically Killua.
Yeah, he's just changing constantly. Them white-haired anime boys and their need to constantly change their
God,
wardrobe.
They just need to always look so fashionable.
Killua, ex-white-haired boy from Noblesse. What is his name?
Yeah, what is
Find
his
out
name? I
his
can't
actual
remember.
name.
I don't remember. I'm really bad at that.
I know. I can. Gosh. Oh, something else. Something else. The big reveal.
Yes?
The something else. M21 being werewolf.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Dude, this when
Yep.
Ray
yep.
like opened up his powers
Yes.
somehow. I don't know, by like licking his blood off of his finger. I don't know.
That's how it works.
Yeah, that's totally how it works in Vampire Free. But yeah, when he like got a bunch of hair on his body, I was like, is he a fucking werewolf? And then later, confirmed canon. I was so excited.
I know. I liked that reveal.
You
a
can't
lot.
have a vampire story like this without having werewolves
Yeah,
involved.
you gotta have werewolves.
Which means it totally opens it to tons of other mythical creatures, supernaturals.
Yeah, I wonder what. We still don't know what Frankenstein is.
Other than being told that he got ridiculously powerful, and
Yeah.
Ray came to him and was like, "Yo, you're scaring people. You need to stop doing that."
Yeah,
I
put it
a
away."
seal. Put a seal.
Yeah, I like that. I like that his seal is literally just, "Don't do that anymore." And Frankenstein was like, "Okay," and then he has that scene where he's like, "Oh no, but my seal." Oh well, and then just uses it, and I was like, was the seal literally just Ray came to you and was like, "Hey, I don't like that. You should stop doing that." And he was like, "All right." Like, that's not a seal. That's not how that works. That's a request.
Ray's requests are seals.
I know. I mean, he does have like, he does have that whole preacher style power where he's like, "Yo, do this," and then people do it.
Yeah, he has like the mind control stuff.
Yeah.
too. I like that the Regis, by the way, White Hawk Guts.
Ah.
let us know. Regis,
White hot guts.
White Hawk.
I thought you were describing him as white hot guts. I was like from Berserk.
Yep. That's what I'm calling him from now on. Regis is now known as White Hot Guts.
White Hot Guts.
That's so inappropriate. White Hot Guts. I like the part where he mind controlled Frankenstein and Ray, but like Ray's, he just didn't. Frankenstein was obviously playing along just to be like, okay, I can't let him know that I'm not human. And Ray's just like sipping his tea, and Regis has no idea if it actually worked. He's just like, I think it must. I like it a lot.
They're good goofs. They're good goofs in this manhwa.
Oh, they're such a good goose. What was the other? There was something else that I wanted to say, but I can't remember what it was. I feel like it was about Shark. Oh, I think it was about Shark being stupid. And the whole, like, K-Dick telling him, don't make a scene. We're coming here to be undercover and find information and not cause a scene like we usually do. And then Shark's just like, okay. And constantly going out and kidnapping people and attacking people and, like, smoking people. I was just like, Shark, what are you doing? Like,
Stop.
I get,
Shark, what's up with you?
Stop. Like, he was just there. As much as I loved his character design, I was like, you are just here to be antagonistic. Like, you have no purpose otherwise. Like, there's no anything
that
otherwise.
whole, okay, I was like, I had to suspend my disbelief so hard for the whole Shark has killed every single person Takeo has ever talked to thing. I was like, no, that's not a thing. I'm not accepting that as canon. Yeah. That's too stupid.
Yeah, like, it felt like it was just another thing. I don't know. It felt like it was just, okay, look how evil Shark is, but how able to be redeemed and actual pure angel Takeo is. And then they had the whole, Takeo, I've actually killed every person you've ever saved. They're all dead because of you. And I was like, no, they weren't. They were part of the mission anyway. Like, it's not really his fault. He tried. Like, you just killed anyway. And then Takeo's just being like, Takeo's heart, like, breaking. And then he just left. Like, he pieced. He pieced out of that fight. He was just gone. And I was like, okay. It just felt like it was another one of those forced feel things about these characters.
Yeah.
We're gonna make you feel like these emotions by giving these sad, tragic backstory kind of a thing, which I was just like, eh. Which is why I like Tao so much, because he was just an awesome character and we really liked him without there being this forced backstory about him. He was just like, yeah, I'm not a good fighter, but I love hacking stuff.
Yeah. And it was like, hey, there's somebody else who loves hacking stuff. OTP. I should go meet them in real life? I was like... Let's call that OTP.
I know, OTP.
Yeah. One thing I found, one thing I don't know, that was kind of, it kind of threw me was when Aris took the D.
Yeah.
When she took the D and she kind of like broke mentally.
And then they were like,
I intended that, Erin.
I know you did, but I'm so surprised that Dodger fell for it. Usually she's pretty good about just being right on top of that. Like, oh yeah, totally, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
But she was just like, it's like, when did that happen?
The whole Snow White thing really weirded me out though. For
real.
It
tastes like strawberries. That part was weird.
Yeah, I assumed that was just because, like, it was intended to accelerate literally everything. So it was like she was suddenly in an extreme fever dream.
Yeah.
No, what I was going to say is, I thought that it was so dumb how, like, they were like, oh, maybe they, in the end, they only ever developed the D to be eaten by Eris. I was like, what is happening in this story?
Yes. Yeah, I was like, I don't think that's right.
Yeah, it went from, like, everybody is in this team to feed Krantz. And then it went into, but Krantz was actually created to feed Eris. And I was like, what? I don't understand.
It's all about everybody was made to feed somebody else.
I guess so. Shit.
Yep.
So, art.
I know, I was...
Uh-huh.
Yes, art.
art was real pretty. Real pretty and real different than what I'm used to. This is actually the first manhwa I read. Because I haven't read Tower of God yet.
What?
Yeah.
You haven't read Tower of God, Lou?
I haven't, and that's gonna make, when it eventually gets added to the schedule, it's gonna be very interesting.
That's gonna
We're gonna see how much time I have to read it.
Yeah. If you want some good story shit, Tower of God's gonna be good for you.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it's just so different aesthetically from everything I've read, because I don't read regular like Western comics. So first thing, seeing something colored, it just completely threw me. Like I know manhwa is colored, but still. So that's one. The designs themselves just popped a lot more than what I'm used to reading in regular manga. Like the main characters really stand out. Like all the designs look completely unique, which is a problem that I have with manga and anime. But everyone, like, you knew who everyone was in this. Even just the one-off characters, like characters you wouldn't see very often. Like some of the kids from the school, like you can tell who they were, that they've had recurring appearances, for example.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I like the art. I thought the art was really well done and polished. There are some instances where, as Erin stated earlier, that you kind of lost the backgrounds because of the attention I was given to the foreground. But I can forgive that, because the foreground looked pretty fucking cool.
I agree with that. I think, like, in terms of the action and the character design and the consistency of it, it was really well done. It was really neat. You just feel like you're reading. The action is very clear about what's happening, and they did a really good job about just saying that and speaking that through the art itself and what's happening in each panel, which I thought was really cool. I wouldn't say, like, the art in terms of the perspective or anything blew me away, because most of it was just very straight on or from the top or just very standard, and which was also kind of repetitive, but it was just so pretty and so fantastically done that it's really hard to fault it for that, because it was consistently good. It was consistently from the start all the way through really good. And like the character designs, Lou, like you said, I absolutely love the character designs, and I love the emotion that gets put into the faces because we're given the color effect, but also just the emotion that is drawn on the faces themselves, especially with, even though we didn't get very much of him this time, Shin Woo has always struck me as just an incredible, well-looking, like just really good-looking character. Not even like just aesthetically, he just looks fantastic when he's talking, if he's joking, like anything he's doing, he just really stands out. And I think M21 was also another one that started to stand out for sure, in terms of just how much detail was given to like his hair and his body, like his body language and everything. There's just so much that's told through the art, and it's really pretty to look at too. So there's that benefit. I think the art is one of this manhwa's strongest points for sure.
Yeah.
He reminds me of Nice from Hamatora a lot, both personality and the way he looks.
Shin Woo? Or
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Shinwoo.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He definitely. Aw, Hamatora. What a lovely relationship.
Hamatora. Yeah, I was gonna say. Oh, I don't have entirely good feelings about you, Hamatora.
I don't.
Me neither, but
that was the most like heinous cough I think I've ever done. It's like Dodger, did you say your thoughts on the art? I know you've said them probably.
I think it's real pretty.
It's really
yeah, I love this is gonna sound really maybe creepy, I don't know. I love when
M21's abs.
I wasn't going to say that, but sure, yes, those were also lovely. I love when a mangaka or a manhwaka.
I was gonna say we haven't done our manhwaka.
that was the thing.
I love when they're really good at deranging someone's face. And like it could have been taken to an even stronger level, but like how we were talking about Frankenstein, like those moments when Frankenstein was like on that edge of like, I'm gonna fucking kill a guy right? I loved the look on his face because he looked so unhinged. And I really like when in a story that involves fights, I love when you can see that snap happen in a person.
Yeah. And they did a really good job about differentiating that from his normal face too. It wasn't just like, oh, he looks the same but slightly more creepy. It was like, oh no, he's gonna kill a bitch.
Oh, he's gonna actually kill a guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Manhwagaka.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll ever pronounce that correctly.
Oh my god, where did that come? That was Breaker. Breaker is where that came
Yeah,
from. Manhwagaka.
We need to read more Breaker too.
Yeah. It's gonna be on the next list. Crunch.
Manhwagaka.
Manhwagaka. Oh my god. Okay, let's wrap up and give our final thoughts and ratings. Wee. Who wants to go first? Manhwagakas.
I'm not even gonna try.
Come on, Lou, do it.
Yeah, do it, Lou. Manhwagaka.
Mahanga. No, it's not happening.
If it helps, we're making up a word.
Yeah,
So you
I
can
know.
say whatever you want.
Manhwagaka.
Manhwagaka.
Mahanga.
Manhwagaka.
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 It's that upward inflection. It makes it wonderful.
Manhwagaka.
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 Anyway. Last time I gave it a 9. I don't feel like it got better than that.
Yeah.
If anything, I would say that it didn't really go anywhere. It just maintained the same sort of thing that I was looking for in Noblesse. Just interesting, weird characters meeting each other and then being like, is this where I belong? Just more of that. If I could just have more of that for all of Noblesse, that would be perfect. So, I'll keep it there. I feel like if I had only read this section, I probably wouldn't have given it a 9.
Mm-hmm.
But because I gave it a 9 last time, and I don't feel like that the quality went down, it just the story just didn't accelerate as much, like we were talking about. So, but I'll leave it at a 9 because it still makes me smile. I still enjoy it a lot. So,
Yeah. I think I'm gonna give it. I think my score is gonna drop down just a little bit because of even though I really loved it and did enjoy it, I think in terms the story, it wasn't anything new, which is fine. But the fact that it was repetitive at the same time really drug it down for me. So I think I'm gonna give it an 8 points.
You need 5 decimal points.
8.36969 white hot guts repeating.
white hot guts.
There you go.
There it is. Nailed it.
I don't even know what I actually said, but there you go. That's my rating. I still think it's really pretty and really enjoyable, and I think the first season was definitely stronger than the second season, but I'm intrigued to see where the story goes, and I do like the characters that we've seen introduced and had developed. So.
Okay. All right. I'm going to give it 2 ratings. 1 because I wasn't on the first one, and then as if I was on the first MangaPod for it, and a rating now. Up to chapter 78, I would have given it a 9 because I loved everything about it. The characters were great, the story was progressing, everything was solid. But as time progressed, the repetition in the story, the jokes started to wear thin. It just kept on wearing on my interest, and I found it harder and harder to stick through those really easy to read chapters. So it brought my score down to a 7.25. It brought it down a lot. I don't see it going any lower than this, though, unless it just tanks. So hopefully when we read it the next time, that won't be the case.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I think that's fair.
I think so too.
Definitely. Sweet. So there you have our ManhwaPod for wait, I'm just so stuck on Manhwagaka. That's all that's coming out of my head. Manhwagaka! For Noblesse, chapters 79 through 154, let's go ahead and give you a summary for the manga or maybe it's manhwa, you don't know, that we are reading next week. Woo! Oh, it's nice and short. Perfect. Ishida Shota bullies a deaf girl, Nishimiya Shoko, to the point that she drops out of school. As a result, he is ostracized and bullied himself, with no friends to speak of and no plans for the future. This is the story of his path to redemption. It's a really sad, really sad summary, which basically gives away the entire one-shot. So, you guys should be able to get it pretty quick there. Come on. Nobody got it? Nobody got it here? Anybody got it on the YouTubes? Anybody got it on the YouTubes? Not yet.
People say they know it, but say the title.
I know, say the
title.
y'all.
You can say the title now. We're all just
waiting. It's okay.
come on, guys.
I'm just there we go.
Yeah.
DRM 37.
Yay!
Koi no Katachi.
Yay, Koi no Katachi! We are reading the one-shot plus chapters 1 through 30, or chapters 0 through 30 of the manga. So, that is what we are reading next week. I'm really excited because I've read the one-shot like 4 or 5 times, and I absolutely loved it.
Oh,
but
really?
I haven't read the rest of the manga yet. So, which I think the manga just finished last fall, something like that.
Oh, cool.
So it's all finished. So we will be reading, like I said, the one shot plus chapters 0 through 30 with special guest Dakota Broski. Oh, dog. So let's go around and give out our stuff super duper fast. I am Erin of HappiLeeErin of the YouTube channel, youtube.com/HappiLeeErin. I do anime reviews and anime first impressions, as well as tag videos and vlogs and stuff. Haven't done anything lately, but I'll hopefully have a video up sometime soon. If you want to find me on any social media, I'm HappiLeeErin all across the everything. And also, if you missed any previous MangaPod, they're all hosted on my YouTube channel. So go and check them out there. Yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Dodger. I have a YouTube channel, youtube.com/pressstart to continue. I play butt-touching games like dating sims and otome games, and I have a gaming news show that I put up once a week. So if that sounds like your jam, come hang out. And I stream on twitch.tv/dexterity-bonus, which might be where you watched this show. And on all the social medias, I'm at DexBonus, DEXBONUS. So thanks for watching.
And my name is Lou, and I'm from Sitting by the Window Anime Reviews. I do anime-related content, sometimes first impressions, full reviews, unboxings, tag videos, a little bit of everything. I'm really inconsistent, though, so you never know what to expect from me. Sometimes I'll just rip some footage and just throw some ludicrous over it. It's happened. So yeah, that's basically me. You can find me at youtube.com/SBTW Anime Reviews and Twitter at SBTW Anime Review. I also have a hummingbird and an Ask FM and an Instagram, and you just search SBTW Anime Reviews. You'll find me. Also, links in the description.
Yeah, all the links are in the description down below. I also have a hummingbird, and also MangaPod has a hummingbird. We all have hummingbirds, including the podcast.
Facts.
If you also want to get more MangaPod, you can go to our subreddit, which is reddit.com/r/MangaPod. We have a recommendation thread going on there right now where you can recommend us manga that we can put on the list for the next half of the year schedule, which we'll be actually scheduling very soon in like 20 minutes. So you should rush over there and put on your recommendations on that thread. You can also find the schedule through the end of June on there as well. And if you also just want to post a discussion related to MangaPod or manga that we read or manhwa, then feel free to do so. We encourage discussion happening over there. Thank you all so much for watching this week. We really love having you in chat, both on Twitch and on YouTube, and in the YouTube comments if you're watching the VOD of this later. We really appreciate you. We'll be here same time, same place next week at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time here on Dexterity Bonus, twitch.tv/dexterity-bonus, dexterity-bonus/twitch.tv. Who knows? Who knows?
One of those. I
don't know. We don't know. And we'll also be on YouTube. I will be tweeting the link of that right before we go live. So if you want to watch on YouTube, you can find the link of it there. What else is there to say? What else is there? Oh, we're going to be, just as a reminder, we'll be reading Koi no Katachi one shot through chapter 30 next week with Dakota Broski. So we hope you join us at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Woo! Woo! Thank you all so much for watching. Bye-bye!
Bye!
Let it out.
Later.
Splash.
Splash free!
Splash.
Splash free.
Splash free!